Hello, it's me again. Uh, I guess this would be the following number volume. I just wanted to talk about my thoughts, I guess. I guess this channel is just going to be about things that I think about and things that I think are what I've compiled of what I've heard. Because I don't believe everything I hear. So, first would be, I guess, pyramids. I don't think the pyramids were built by the Egyptians per se. I mean, I definitely don't believe there were tombs. I guess I would start off saying I never believed that since a kid. I always heard that and I just thought like, okay, you're a king, and your whole time of being a king, you're just gonna plan your tomb, your burial. Like that sounds lame. As if you're a king, like that's stupid. I don't want to be a king. If I'm a king and I can do whatever I want, I don't want to plan my burial. So I never subscribed to that idea that the tombs, the pyramids were tombs. I was just like, okay, mm, nah. But what else you got? And then they were built by slaves. Okay, so you beat somebody into building these monumentous megalithic structures that I mean that still stand. I mean nothing we build now stands. I mean you throw an airplane at it and it crumbles, but that's another story. um, I just never subscribed to those ideas. Like I just thought that was foolish. Plus, with what we thought they had, like they built these great things and they moved it across sand, and you're telling me a slave did that thing, and the more we study them, the more we study the pyramids, the more questions we get, and we see the Sphinx, and the Sphinx is that now geologists have now confirmed the fact that the Sphinx is way older than the pyramids, just because of geological factors about the storm weathering, and I want to say that was Robert. I'm so ashamed of myself for not knowing this great man's name. Anyways, he was the one to deduce that the Sphinx is way older because of the enclosure was had rainfall weathering. So whoever, in turn, just to link in, the pyramids weren't built the same time as the Sphinx. The Sphinx is way older than the pyramids. So whoever built the pyramids, the Sphinx was already there. And I'm not saying that the Egyptians built the pyramids. I'm saying the Egyptians came onto the pyramids. They were, I mean, imagine you're people roaming the desert and you see these great structures. Why not? Why not build a city around it? You got nothing else. This is a perfect place to start a city. And so I see the hieroglyphs as a new era graffiti, but still ancient writings. Because none of the pyramids, none of them in any of the texts, they claim to take credit for building the pyramids. So none of the Egyptians said that they built any of the pyramids. And then, as we could see, the pyramids built after the structural integrity, the planning designs of them have all declined. The craftsmanship, if you will, wasn't in what was in the first ones, and just as coming from a building engineering evolution standpoint, that's never been true. Whatever you build, whenever you build the second one, you always build a better one. You never build a worse one. because I mean the the ones that are worse don't last. That's why. And and so I've never subscribed to the fact that the pyramids were tombs for the pharaohs. The more we come to learn that the pharaohs weren't even the leaders in a sense of of they weren't the rulers. The way that it used to be is that the women would be in charge, and I think that's a strong point that we need to focus on again. It's giving the women back the giving them the control so that they have the one they need to be, they're the creators. That's the bottom line. Men, we don't create, we just destroy. And women, they create. They We destroy, we lay the plans for a new to happen, but the women's are the ones who create. We are the negative, they are the positive. I'm sorry if you don't think that way, but that's just the way it is. Men, gentlemen. Anyways, so I digress. I never believed that the pyramids were tombs. I always believed that they had some kind of knowledge that we didn't know, some type of connection. So I always thought, so what's the point of gold? Okay, gold is shiny. Who cares? There's a lot of shiny metals. It doesn't matter. Why would that matter opposed to silver? Silver's shinier. If it was going to be a shining metal, why wouldn't it be silver? So it goes down to this. Gold is the easiest metal that is conductive of electricity, and it's the most malleable. That means it can be shaped the easiest. With silver, you'll lose something once you get it that fine. And so this is why the Egyptians or the ancients, they valued gold as a. This is why gold is such a economic structure in our days. And then I thought to diamonds. Like, what are diamonds? Because they're shiny. So what? Who cares? They're shiny. There's a lot of things that are shiny. There's a lot of things that are prettier than diamonds that are shiny. But diamonds have to be the hardest on the Mohs scale of rocks. So that means there's nothing that can cut a diamond but another diamond. So there we go. We got diamonds and we got gold. Those are the basis of their value because of their use, not because of how pretty they are. Because, like I said, there's a lot of things that are prettier than gold and diamonds. But these are why these two minerals are at the top. These are why the ancients used these minerals, and why the pyramids were built out of certain type of. They weren't just built out of rock. They were built out of limestone, out of basalt, out of alabaster. I mean, out of quartz. These materials we use today, but we just don't know how we use them. How opposed to, do you know how your phone works? Do you know what makes your phone work? What's being able to record right now? And I think a lot of you will say no. A lot of you will say yes, being unaware of how it actually works. But if I would point to this rock and say this rock is this things inside of this rock is the same things that make your phone work, you probably wouldn't believe me, but it's not a lie. It's the exact truth. It's the crystal quartz silica inside of this rock, which is most abundant material in the universe, in this world. To us, it's everywhere. I mean, it's literally everywhere. But crystal quartz holds a certain frequency. Crystal quartz silica. Think of silica. Think of Silicon Valley. the things that they make your computer chips out of, the microchips. When they say microchip, think they're taking microscopic chips of this rock and putting it in a little plastic housing unit and then soldering it to a circuit board with gold laid onto it, which is just relaying it. And so that's how your cell phone is able to work. Just little pieces of crystal quartz and silica. So I guess my point is to wake everybody up onto the realization of the things that are around us and the things that we use and we take for granted, because we can't take anything for granted anymore. Pretty soon we're gonna lose it, and that's not to say in a negative sense, because we have to lose it to know what was good. You have to lose what you love in order to know that you love it. There's always that shadow, that darkness in between light. Whenever light casts its light, it also casts the shadow, just like on this rock. Just like on me. I mean, whenever you see the light bouncing off, you see the opposites of the shadow. And that's what everything's kind of about, in a sense. It's that light, but it's also accepting the darkness. And so I've never subscribed back to the pyramids. I never thought slaves built the pyramids. And to end on this video, which is all over the place, is there's an interesting thing in Egypt. There's a lot of the tube drilling, and it's always fascinated me. Like, that's weird, tube drilling. Like, why? What for? What was the reason? And it wasn't until recently I found out that there was actually samples. Like, so they drew the whole core out, and it wasn't just like they mashed the whole total inside and then just there was a hole in there. It was that they cut a hole in it and they took the extra core out. And that's just to touch on, I don't know how well this video is showing, but this rock that's been behind my house for, ever. And if you can see, it's a hole drilled into it. And I don't know where, I don't know why, I don't know what for, because you can see what's around us. Oh, there's some donkeys. Hey guys. And so, this is a pretty big hole. It's no small cheese hole, you know. I'll go on this end. I could stick my hand through it, and it's almost perfect. It's just to say that it is perfect, but I don't have any measuring tools, so all I can see is with my eyes, and once I come at it with a certain distance, it doesn't look like it's not round. Anyways, the point of visit, because I don't know what it's for, so there's no point. So it's like a Seinfeld thing. If you guys have any ideas on what it might be, I'd be interested. The donkeys be interested. See them over there? They're right there. I don't know how well I'm pointing at them. Either way. So yeah, that's my first installment of how I believe we've been lied to. The pyramids. Next installment would be, I guess, the Aztec pyramids. The ones closer to home, as it would be. The ones in Mexico and South America. I got a lot of, again, these are just my own theories, my own thoughts. If they offend you, thank you. to not offend, but to inspire people to think. And if no one's told you today, you're beautiful. This is Lovely Morning Bear.